Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Even as the Prime Minister hit the campaign trail and was in Kolkata while speaking with CNN News 18, he underlined that he would bring back the glory of Bengal. 141 years ago, on the 28th of May 1883, this man, Swatantra Veer Damodar Savarkar, Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, was born. What was his vision of Bharat amid a time when the Prime Minister speaks about the OBC reservation and this quota being used as a dangerous appeasement game? When we are looking at Bengal and Prime Minister said, "Ek aur vibhajan Bengal mein hone nahi denge." Where does the ideology of Savarkar come in? Is there a template that we can learn? What was his thesis and his vision of Bharat? What was his point of view? The opposition that vilifies and lampoons Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, should they actually turn to him to try and tell the BJP that this is what he espoused and this is what we are espousing? My India would be a democratic state in which people belonging to different religions, sects or races would be treated with perfect equality. None would be allowed to dominate others. None would be deprived of his equal right, just an equal right of free citizenship, so long as everyone discharges the common obligation which they owe to the state as a whole. Hindustan, the motherland, holy land of Hindus from the Indus, the seas, would be an undivided organic state. The Hindus would be a casteless society, a consolidated modern nation. Science and technology would be encouraged, and going on to outline what his vision was, where he said that it would be a landlordless society. The state would own all the land and also the big industries. Everybody would get equal opportunities, and we would champion the cause of a common earth, a common land, Bhumi. That was his thought process, where he said that we would have a strong policy that rides on a strong military. And he said a strong Akhand Hindustan would be a policy of neutrality and peace. On a day when Bengal is at the forefront, 1950 Noakhali riots, Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, ahead of partition, had envisioned that this would come to pass. We will again have to face this situation. He had talked about it in 1921 when he predicted the partition of Bharat. Should we go back to his lessons and should we understand his thesis when it comes to this entire reservation debate and when it comes to the state of Bengal? Ranjit Savarkar, grandson of Veer Savarkar, joins us. Ranjit ji, namaste, Jai Hind, thank you for your time, sir. Today, Savarkar Jayanti, and ahead of the final phase of elections, a lot of conversation around reservation, around caste. Want to understand, what was Veer Savarkar's point of view?
See, Savarkar's ultimate goal was to bring everything everyone on a same platform. But his views regarding reservation were such, exactly what Ambedkar has envisioned, that is, the reservation should be kept for 10 years and later when the backward classes are brought at par with the others, the reservation should go. Exactly what the Ambedkar's view was there, that was the view of Savarkar.
He also agreed with Baba Saheb Ambedkar on the aspect of untouchability and the caste system. There were the 7 shackles that he said that are chaining or holding back Hindu society.
Yes. Savarkar said that untouchability is a fruit of a tree and not a cause. So cause is the caste differences. And this view he promoted since 1924. And later you will see, after even 10 years, Ambedkar wrote the famous book Annihilation of the Caste. So both mean exactly same. The castes are responsible for the differences, Ucha Neech system. So for untouchability to go, the caste system has also to go. So both have exactly same views on that.
He also had foresight. He saw that if the nation walks and its founding fathers and the leaders of that time walked a particular direction or a path, what would happen to Bharat in the future? And has that come to pass?
Yes, definitely, because he has seen in the past, he has studied the history. So on one part, the India was divided into the several castes. So he wanted Hindus to unite and form a casteless society. So that was one objective. And secondly, appeasement was even going in that period. Because if you see in 1921 Mopla riots, the thousands were killed and women were raped and all such atrocities were committed by the Muslims there. Gandhiji openly praised them as my brave Mupla brothers. Further, he said that the Muslims, they are fighting by the way their religion has preached them. And he blamed Hindus. He said that originally the Muslim religion is from the Arbastan and they are Ranti, that is what you say. And he blamed Muslims for not civilizing them. So this was an open appeasement, and Savarkar opposed it since that day.
But he also had a position on partition. And one of it was also when the partition of Bengal was attempted in early 1900s, then it was retracted, but then it was all, many believe that the entire partition movement or this entire thing, the origins, genesis is actually Bengal, erstwhile now today's Bangladesh, erstwhile East Pakistan or East Bengal.
Since earlier Britishers were trying to, I will say the divide and rule policy. In 1857, Hindus and Muslims fought together. So what British did was appeasement of Muslims. Muslim what is a Shishtamandal, the Britishers took them to London and they demanded for electoral, this one, we want 35% seats and 1 vote Hindu and 3 vote Muslims and all such things. So Britishers promoted them right from the beginning, and this was a clear-cut express. They separated the Muslim areas from Bengal and Assam as well, and they divided the Bengal, and they wanted to see how the India reacts to it. Unfortunately, the Muslim population didn't oppose this partition, but rest of the India sided with the people in Bengal, and they finally got it cancelled. So rightly, I will say that the experiment of divide and rule. That is it. And then latter partition of India started in 1905.
Did he envisage that something like this would repeat in the future? Unfold in the future?
Definitely, Savarkar has said if you are having a partition, then you should have exchange of population. He has written in one of the books that I fully agree with Dr. Ambedkar. Had that been done, so right now what has happened is the Pakistan and Bangladesh, there are no Hindus there. And in India, in 1947, the Muslim population was 8%, and now it has gone to 22%. So, and the same scenario is happening again, because in 1921, if you see the population in 1921, India's population, Hindus were 75%, Muslims were 22%, and almost same is today's picture. So, what he has envisaged in 1921, we can envisage in 2021 now.
So
the same situation is here.
100 years later, it's a similar situation.
For repeat of 1947, maybe in 100 years after the partition.
Strong point that you make there, Ranjit ji, because PM also just the other day in an interview said कि बंगाल एक और विभाजन नहीं चाहता और ये हम होने नहीं देंगे.
Yeah, definitely Savarkar has envisaged the partition of India in 1923 itself. That's why he wrote Hindutva. But during that time, the leading political party was Congress, who didn't listen to Savarkar. The government, British government, was pro-Pakistan. They encouraged the Pakistan. But fortunately, right now, the government is working on the path of Savarkar. So I think even though situation is repeated exactly now, the conditions are same as that were in 1921. I think we'll be able to avoid the partition in the coming years.
Ranjit ji, thank you very much for speaking with us. Namaste and Jai Hind. Thank you very much. Quickly going across to Uday Mahurkar, former CIC, senior journalist, author Veer Savarkar, the book, and also a historian himself. Uday ji, namaste, Jai Hind. Thank you for speaking with us. On a day when we mark, or the nation marks, Savarkar Jayanti, the straight question to you is, did he or did he not envisage a similar situation in Bengal? Did he or did he not question the grounds of partition itself? In 1950, Noakhali, and even before that in 47, about Assam and Bengal, he had some serious concerns.
You see, in 1937, when all the restrictions on Savarkar were removed, he got an invitation from Netaji Bose, Achyutrao Patwardhan and S.M. Joshi. These three people asked him to join Congress. They invited him to join Congress. Savarkar refused, saying that Congress is indulging in Muslim appeasement at the cost of Hindu rights. Or doing so in Bharatvarsh is betraying the nation. Therefore, if I join Congress at this stage, when there is no hope of Congress retracing its steps, I will be party to this sin, And he refused to join. So he predicted Pakistan 10 years before Pakistan came into formation. His 1937 speech at Karnavati, Ahmedabad, when he took over as president of Hindu Mahasabha, is very clear. He says that if Congress does not stop the policy of Muslim appeasement at the cost of Hindu rights, then Pakistan can happen. So Savarkar, in that sense, the way he predicted partition, the way he predicted the Chinese threat, the way he predicted the threat on account of Muslim appeasement to India's internal security, Assam, I think Savarkar, in our book we have proved that Savarkar is the father of India's national security. He is the Nostradamus of India's national security because he has foreseen all the problems India has faced on the national security front much before they happened.
Correct, but he was also somebody
So
who
Savarkar,
wanted to unshackle.
Savarkar.
He had foresight, Udayji, and you're right, and you mentioned that and you've elucidated that brilliantly in the book, and he's also looked at that the bigger enemy is China. He's spoken about that. He was worried about what is going to happen 100 years down the line. When he saw what happened with the Mopla riots, he had foreseen what could happen, and partition did happen, and a lot of it stemmed from Bengal. The origins, genesis were Bengal. He also wanted people to protect Sindh because the larger Hindu aspect, Hindu Sindh should not go away with the Muslim League and with the then proposed Pakistan, and it was a concern for him the moment it was delinked from the Bombay province. But what I'm coming to now is how he envisaged Hindu society. He also thought Hindu society was chained and shackled. He talked about espoused Vedokta Bandi. He wanted to Shuddhi Bandi, Beti Bandi, Roti Bandi, and also Vyavsay Bandi amongst about the 7 shackles of Hindu society.
Savarkar, if you look at it, the kind of work he did while he was in Ratnagiri for about 13 years in Najar Kaid, the kind of work he did, so far as untouchability is concerned, so far as the entry of Hindus into temples is concerned, I think it is landmark. V.R. Shinde, a great...
Yeah, the Patit Pawan temple movement, yes.
Yes, V.R. Shinde is a great social reformer of Maharashtra. He had said that had Savarkar not joined politics in 1937 and had he continued with his untouchability, movement against untouchability and Hindu Sangathan, untouchability would have been erased from large parts of the country. That is what that is the kind of tribute has been paid to Savarkar. So Savarkar was a great social reformer. Apart from a great
So can we pinch today
political and security visionary?
In 2024, can we pinch a leaf out of it amidst all this entire OBC quota, reservation debate, game of appeasement that's being played? Final question, Udayji.
What do you want to know?
No, can we take a leaf out of Savarkar's thesis of how we can actually form our quota system, how we can actually empower those who are truly need empowerment?
No, basically, he was not against quota to, backward Hindus or untouchable Hindus, but he was strictly against quota to Muslims. Till then, and more so after partition, because partition you had given Pakistan to Indian Muslims.
Yeah, land was given. Partition happened on the grounds of religion, Hindu and Muslim. Yeah.
Yes, the 1945. Let us understand this. The 1945 election, the last parliamentary election before partition. In that, the voting was less. Hindu voting percentage was I think 25% and Muslim was 20%. But out of 20%, 87% Muslims voted for Muslim League. So majority, if not 87%, if you can't juxtapose that figure on entire 100%, Right. But it is very clear that majority of Indian Muslims wanted partition, and they stayed back. So you see, this entire thing began in Lucknow Pact. If you go further back,
right.
In Lucknow Pact, it was Lokmanya Tilak who thought that this sparing between Hindus and Muslims and the kind of advantage Muslims are, Britishers are taking to divide in the Indian society. Let me give some concessions. Let the Congress give some concessions to the Muslims.
Right.
So it was the first step towards concession to Muslims, so far as parliamentary quota is concerned, was given by Congress under the leadership of Lokmanya Tilak, because Lokmanya Tilak could see that the Britishers are exploiting Hindu-Muslim differences.
Right.
You get my point? So
I get
the
your
story starts with 1916.
So 1916,
Lucknow Pact.
2024,
But thereafter,
108 years later.
Had Lokmanya Tilak lived, he would have retraced his steps,
Right.
But then he died, and Gandhiji took over. And Gandhiji had totally different ideas, He
Right.
wanted to appease Muslims at any cost. I call his model of Hindu unity as Hindu-Muslim unity at Hindu cost.
Right. So there are critics of Mahatma Gandhi. There are those who also have need to read Savarkar's work on social reform, construct of the Hindustan that he had envisaged, and his political definition of the word Hindu itself and who's a Hindu itself, that encompassed everybody who lived in this geography between the Himalayas and the seas, that is the Indian Ocean. Thank you very much, Uday Markarji. I've got to wind up on that note, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, brass tacks. Stay with us.